It's still a matter of the current biennium's deficit shortfall, the $4.3 billion. And you know that Chairman Pitts of the Appropriations Committee yesterday circulated a letter making a forceful case for taking that money out of the rainy day fund. The governor is not alone, but he's nearly alone in believing that we should, at least for now, not touch the rainy day fund and deal with our problems outside of that. Can you offer us your point of view and what you think is going to happen?
Yes, and you in your setup to this question did refer to the current budget situation as being a deficit. Yeah. And you mentioned shortfall. Right. Very clearly, the current budget is in deficit. Right. It must be corrected. We must pay our obligations. That is a conservative principle. The number I've seen is $4.3 billion that we're short in this biennium, with only a few months left to go. Right. The comptroller came to the Appropriations Committee just days ago and gave her opinion that even though we have made cuts, and I would like to remind people we have made cuts in this current budget.
It's about $1 billion.
It amounts to over $1 billion, which at the time we knew would not be sufficient. It was necessary, but not sufficient. We have a budget deficit. It has to be dealt with. Right. I am all ears to alternatives to dealing with it, short of using the rainy day fund. I talked to the governor yesterday about this, and he wants time to massage this. I'm not sure whether a massage is adequate for treatment for the ailment that we have.
Maybe a shiatsu massage might actually be better than a basic shoulder rub.
But I want all options on the table. Right. And
you're not personally opposed to the rainy day fund yourself. You're not making a blanket statement, do not use it.
What my responsibility is, and what the legislature's responsibility is, and what the governor's responsibility is to make sure that we pay our debts and our obligations that we are currently liable for. Right. And whether that's using some of the rainy day fund or finding other means that I am open to, I'm all ears. However, the time is running short. We have a lot of work to do, and we have a 2-year budget to write after we solve this problem. So I invite specifics from any interested party, and I invite them by the close of business today.
Is that right? Should we just sort of sit here and wait for people to walk up with ideas?
Well, there are a lot of smart people that have known this is out there for a long time.
Have you heard any?
I'm sure they're ready with their suggestions.
Have you heard any specific ideas that might get you to a $4.3 billion deficit?
I'm sure there are a lot of ideas out there.
Yeah, haven't heard any yet.
It's time for specifics, and it's time to move on.
Are you directing that to the governor?
I'm directing it to anyone that has an idea. There are a lot of smart people in this town. Inside the government, there's certainly smart people outside the government.
Right, but failing that, if we can't come up with something else, you would be comfortable dipping into the rainy day fund to pay down the deficit.
I'm certain we're going to pay our obligations.
Right. But you'd be comfortable, Mr. Speaker, you would be comfortable in the absence of other ideas. You would be comfortable, even as a last resort, using the rainy day fund.
I'm very, very pleased that we have over $9 billion there to use to pay our current obligations.
Yes.
And I'm also very pleased that it won't take all of the rainy day fund to do so.
To solve that problem.
That's right.
Okay. So with regard to your last statement, Mr. Speaker, outside of the current biennium, do you believe that the rainy day fund ought to be on the table for the next biennium's shortfall?
I don't believe that's going to be a consideration.
Why is that?
Because I think that by solving the current deficit, we then move on to solving the looming shortfall in the next budget.
Right.
But we don't spend money we don't have. Right. I also view this budget situation in 3 pieces. One, you have to look back. 2 years ago, we knew we were headed into probably a challenging fiscal situation. Right. We are clearly in one now. And going forward, I don't know that this is a one-shot, 2-year biennial challenge. I think the next session could provide challenges as well, and I think we would be smart to leave some money in reserves in that rainy day fund.